A little girl was watching TV in her bedroom one morning when her mother called out, "Michelle, come, it's time for breakfast." No response. A short time later, her mother called out again, "Michelle, time for breakfast." Again, no response. The third time, her mother shouted, "Michelle, come and eat your breakfast." This time, the little girl ran out of her room into the kitchen and with a very innocent smile on her face said, "Sorry, Mom, I didn't hear you the first 2 times." It's a cute little story that points out something about many people in our noisy world today, and that is we have a serious shortage of good listeners. And if you think about it, most of us talk too much, and even when we're not talking, are we really listening? In today's gospel, Jesus tells us the parable how to be spiritually energized and nourished by listening to his voice. By listening to his voice. He describes what happens when a shepherd enters the sheepfold. He calls out to his flock, the sheep hear his voice, and they follow him because they know his voice. I am the good shepherd, Jesus assures us today, and he wants us to know his voice and to listen. And how will we know? How will we know if we're good listeners to the word of God that comes to us in Jesus, the Good Shepherd? Here's how. If we are not doing, then we can be sure we are not listening. Today we're encouraged, make whatever adjustments we need to allow the voice of the Good Shepherd to increase within us forgiveness and compassion and love, to let those kingdom values more deeply penetrate our minds, our hearts, and our souls. Listen to him. Resist all temptation to let the old voices of vengeance and hate melt away. Don't let them lead the way. With the voice of the Good Shepherd, let them melt away. Listen to him. Don't be fooled by the voice that says, it's okay to acquire more money and things at the expense of honesty and decency in your relationships. Listen to him and discover the more you listen, the more you try to follow, the closer you will get to the Good Shepherd and the closer you become to one another. Today's parable of the Good Shepherd reminds us in a world that is filled with many voices trying to get our attention, God never stops. God never stops inviting us through Jesus to be his own. The Good Shepherd always keeps us within calling distance. If we don't hear him, it's not because he's too far away or he's not speaking loudly enough. If we don't hear him, it's because we're not listening for his voice. And remember, here's how we can tell if we're listening and hearing the voice. If we aren't doing, then we aren't listening.